now tuned into the sounds of Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
Time's been moving slowly, so we already in too deep. Can't get...
Then you won't get spoken to. People only see you when you up, then they notice you. Trying to be a legend, create lines is quotable. Only the real shall last, and I only know a few. People when they feelings always acting emotional. Ain't about a check, then it ain't negotiable. Gotta show respect to the people that's posting you. Soon to be on posters posted up like the older dudes.
Now we aging like fine wine, how we supposed to do. Peep the shade on the timelines, this time posted cool. Shit is black and white like photos from a disposable. Certain situations you ain't end up uncontrollable. All up in their head, I be so confused. I just brush it off, peep the shoulder moves. We all got the same 24, so it's no excuse. Switch it up, we could rap or produce the things you can't have.
You are now tuned in to Big Nate Sports Talk, the show that's on all the time, anytime. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for all content. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host, Nathan Snell. Bring your sports game with Big Nate Sports Talk.
Well, first of all, listen, it's interesting about all these young guys today. They never call on us and say, hey, thanks for the kind word and tell me how great a player I am. But when they play like crap and we call them out, we don't know what we're talking about. Listen, I'm easy to find.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your host, Nathan Stella, Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. I hope you're all well. Hope you're all staying safe. This is episode 27 of the podcast. I hope you're all enjoying your Sunday so far. Before we get into the video, there's a few things I would like to say up front. I have a couple more episodes before I will decide to conclude the season 11. I have the Baltimore Ravens preview up probably. I have it up by tomorrow as well. The Washington Commanders video, I'm going to hold off. I'll probably go live with that, or I'll record that tomorrow. In this episode, we are previewing Maryland basketball. The women and the men debut. Where in this video we are we're previewing the Maryland's women's basketball team as we take on the University of George Mason. For some background, as you've seen the title, this is a team that's different. I got a lot of questions coming into this season. Looking at the preseason, I there's a couple things I've seen. Bree McDaniel, Gia Cook. I think those are going to be two key pieces coming off the bench. Bree McDaniel is a defensive-minded, defense first, and I know Coach Freeze definitely preached that at Media Day, particularly against Frostburg in Millersville. Second game scrimmage, there was a lot of people were panicking. Abby Myers, I think, is going to be Diamond Miller's sidekick. The Millersville scrimmage it showed some things that I didn't like. But one thing I like about Abby Myers' game, she's very good in the transition, because looking at their guards, it's now Elisa Prinzen, Lavender Briggs, Faith Masumanus, and then you have Diamond and Abby. This team looks completely different. We did beat Frostburg 113-46, and then Millersville, who did kind of slap us in the face, we bounced back with a 94-39 victory and that scrimmage win. Opening night, we are facing George Mason. This roster, I'm going to go back to it. It's different. It's the same team, new team. It's a new season, new faces. Ashley Owusu is at Virginia. Angel Reese is at LSU. Mimi Collins is at NC State. This team just looks different. I just felt last year, but particularly injuries and COVID happening at the wrong time, that hurt us. I mean, we did finish 23-9. I think we were 13 or 14. I think I just felt like there were some things that happened during the season that just the way this to see key players. I mean, Chloe Bibby graduated, Katie Benson graduated. I know Mimi Collins, unfortunately did not get into grad school, and I just think that there was some things that happened during the season that we don't have the full picture. And Coach Freese responded by bringing in players that I think represent what she's looking for. But I'm curious to see how how everyone that's transferred will look this year. I'm going to be definitely following Virginia, NC State, North Carolina, and the other schools that now have Maryland Terrapins on them. But those are my three. I'm looking to see how they will play. Coming into this game, George Mason, this team last year was 3-12 in the Atlantic 10, 10-19 on the year. This is Coach Lewis's second year. They only have 3 returning starters. I thought, looking at their schedule, what stood out to me is that a lot of their wins came off against non-conference opponents, and then the first 6 conference games, they got their butt whooped. So a couple players that stood out to me, there are 3 returning players. Taylor Jamison, she last year shot 36% from the field, and she is a shot creator. She at least scored. She's played at least 20 games in her first few years at George Mason, if I saw that stat correctly. There's 6'1", 6'2" center, her name is Jasmine Dolster. She shot 41% from the field last year. She's a glass cleaner. I think the thing it's a rebounding committee. You don't have an Angel Reese down low, and you don't have a Shakira Austin down low. So it's going to be interesting to see how on the defensive side of the ball we look, because and I look at who you don't, the one area that's alarming when looking at this Maryland women's basketball team is they don't have a center. Now I'm hoping who they are bringing in is the answer for next year. But that is the true area. The biggest strength I think George Mason has looking at their players is rebounding. This is particularly, like I said, Josephine Dolster. She's 6'2". She had 4 double-doubles. Looking at her stats. They have the size. They're not a good three-pointing shooting team. Interesting. And that's why they won three games in their conference last year. So that's something to keep your eye on as well if you're Maryland. So get them off the 3 line. But my biggest thing is looking into this season is this is a new Maryland roster. I mean, how are they all going to look? Addie Myers coming off Princeton. Mila Reynolds coming out of South Bend, Indiana. Gia Cook, Bree McDonald, Lavender Briggs. This is a completely different squad. Diamond Miller is the heart and soul of this team. She is now the de facto leader. You know, Faith Masuman is coming off her injury. We did lose. She went to Towson University, transfer. She's out for the season. I see her face, but I forgot her name. I apologize. Gia Cook. There's a lot to be optimistic for, but I have a lot of questions. I definitely think that Maryland, I can see definitely running a lot of zone, and you've got to create turnovers early. I think that's the key. And then also, too, they have been very off the court chemistry together. And I think that that's important. I think chemistry is key to being a successful team because without that, there is no successful team. You have to have chemistry, whether that's on and off the court. So I'm curious to see how it looks. But I'm optimistic. This is game one. New season. I believe I will guarantee that the women, the Maryland Lady Terrapins will beat the Lady George Mason Patriots, 77-53.
Guaranteed.
I think those are the keys to beating George Mason. This is going to be an interesting season for the Lady Terps because I think being ranked 17th is a bit. I think that's the Riders being nice, and it's curious to see how the biggest question is how is this team going to look now that you're 3/5 of your starting five is gone. So that's going to be the end of this video, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have a final message for you other than actually, let's go into it.
Incoming message.
Thoughts are running through my mind, so I took some time to find a minute or two to organize them.
My final message is to the Lady Terrapins. Just best of luck as you get ready for your new season, new journey, new chapter, new faces. I think it's going to be a great year. As a Maryland Terrapin fan, it's going to be different not seeing those that you would expect it to see, especially after seeing the things I saw on social media where there was a lot of optimism. Everybody was motivated to come back and be ready. And then I just think there's a lot of things behind closed doors that respectfully, everyone's keeping to themselves, and I respect that. But I do believe something occurred to have that amount of transfers. And this is not this year that's happened. This has happened quite a bit. I mean, Shakira left, and then now Ashley, Angel, Mimi, and something happened. But I'm not going to make that the narrative of this video. The narrative is that this is Maryland basketball. Brenda Freeze's teams are always competitive. She's always going to ask nothing but grade A, 100% effort out of you. She's going to get the best. She's going to make the most of you, make the best of you. That's always been Brenda Freeze's teams. That's why she is an exceptional head coach, regardless of what people may say about her. She is a champion. She brings a willingness of a winningness attitude to this program, and that needs to be valued. And that's my final message. So, ladies and gentlemen, be tuned in for future episodes of the podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, comment, subscribe. I will catch you guys on the next episode. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Stay up.
But I get sick of these guys complaining. These young guys, they never call us and say, when a coach is wrong, I'm going to call him out. But when players are wrong, I'm going to call them out. Thanks for the kind words. But listen, I'm going to criticize guys if they deserve it. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode and you want to see more content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bring your sports game on Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
Thank you. And you helped me retain my sanity. Thank you. I want to thank you.